there, Star Wars collectors. Welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video, and welcome to episode 27 of Ask Bossk's Bounty. Of course, you know the drill by now. This is the weekly series where you guys get to ask me questions in the comments section below. And of course, every week I do my very best to answer them. So if you do have a question for next week's episode, be sure to leave that in the comment section below. Now, of course, if you happen to like this video, I'd also like you to drop a like down below because that also does help the video get out there. Thank you very much for that. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. I have got a lot of new subscribers this week, so thank you very much for that and welcome to the great community. Now, this is a bit of a special episode of Ask Bossk's Bounty because I do need your help on a pretty serious matter, well, I think serious anyway, and it is to do with the vintage collection. So earlier this week, or maybe at the end of last week, I think it was around May the 5th, there was like a Q&A session with Hasbro where various fan channels did a Q&A session, got to ask some questions, and bantherskull.com did ask some interesting questions about the vintage collection, and some of the answers did concern me a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say that the line is basically, dying or anything like that. I truly trust Hasbro in that, what they say, and that they are continuing with the line. My problem is with the volume of figures that we are getting. I think 3 waves of 4 figures in the calendar year of 2020 isn't enough, with obviously 2 reissue waves. So basically I'm going to be starting up a little campaign that I need all of your help with, and it's called Back the Vintage Collection, with the hashtag of #BackTVC. I'm going to be using it on all of my posts, all of my Twitter, all of my Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, everywhere, basically everywhere you can think of where I post about the vintage collection. I'm going to use the BackTVC hashtag, and it's basically to get Hasbro to try and recognise that there's loads and loads of fans of the vintage collection out there, and we want them to make more product. Now, if you want to head on over to my website after this video, it's www.bosksbounty.com. I'll leave a link in the description below to an open letter that I have written to Hasbro about my concerns about the vintage collection. Now, I ask you guys very, very kindly if you can possibly share that article out as much as you possibly can, and let's get the message out there to Hasbro that we want more from the vintage collection every year. Now, with all that being said, one other thing that we're going to be doing today is opening up a lovely bit of fan mail which came today. I'm going to be doing that later in the video, but first of all, let's get on to the first question, which is Carl Jones. Hi Bossk's Bounty, do you think Hasbro will make more figures in the vintage collection? So, as I just mentioned, I've started off this little mini campaign which I want to gather pace. As I said, it's on my website. I don't think they're making enough figures. Last year we had a lot more figures. This year it seems to have slowed down a lot, and I think they should be making more figures. And this isn't me having a go at Hasbro, it's just me as a fan wanting them to give us more, basically, and earn them more money. Because as I say in the open letter, if you read it, if they make it, we will buy it. So that's it, Carl Jones. I think they will continue to make vintage collection figures, but I just want more. Shiny Mimi Caillou says, thanks for the professional, great content as always. Thank you very much, my friend. My question is, when do you think Hasbro will update Darth Revan for the vintage collection after the whole debacle that caused him to be pulled from the 2019 line? Do you think it will be the Jedi Revan figure that comes out in the vintage collection? So I'm not really too sure about this one. I think they obviously know the fan demand for that character, because obviously that's why they put it back in the line, but obviously they got a load of feedback basically saying that that figure was no longer adequate for today's standards. So maybe they are going to take that advice and go off and build us a brand new figure. I'm not sure if they will. I think brand new figures, they've got a lot on their plate in terms of what they've got to give us from all sorts of different films and TV shows. There's so much for them to do. But saying that, they know as well as I do and as well as you do, if they were to make a brand new Revan figure, it would sell like hotcakes. A name that I really cannot pronounce, and you can see why on the screen there. I give anyone the chance to try and pronounce that name, but you're welcome anyway, my friend. How many Jabba the Hutt figures do you have? So I have 2 Jabba the Hutt figures. I have the original vintage Kenner one from 1983 sitting there nicely on his throne, and I also have the one that came with the sail barge in the vintage collection beginning of last year. I used to have the Power of the Force 2 version that came in that green box, but I didn't like the colour of him and he looked a bit weird. I think he looked more like the sort of one that was from the special editions in The New Hope when he was talking to Han Solo. He looked a bit more like that. Didn't really like that Jabba, so I actually sold that one. So I have 2 left. RX Gold says, will they revisit Chancellor Palpatine from episode 3 in the vintage collection? To be honest, I hope if they were to do the Emperor of any sort, it would be the Emperor from the Return of the Jedi. That is a card back that we are still desperately needing. And I think the 5POA version that they did bring out last year, I think it was, maybe 2 years ago in the Last Jedi sort of packaging, the Force Link 2 figure, that figure was a great figure. And if they could do something a bit like that, but in the vintage collection, super articulated on that vintage style card for the Emperor, then that would be my choice rather than another Chancellor Palpatine from episode 3. Having said that, I do quite like the look of him in those red robes and stuff when the Jedis go to kill him, so maybe that's a possibility as well. Star Wars Figure Reviews says, hi Bossk, if you had to pick, what is your least favourite character in Star Wars? Wow, that's a difficult one. I think it's probably a bit obvious, but I've probably got to go with Jar Jar Binks. Don't get me wrong, I love the prequels and I love the Phantom Menace. Jar Jar Binks is just a little bit too much for me, but I think he's got less annoying over time. But when he first was on screen, I was thinking, what have they done here? In today's Star Wars, I would say, without being horrible to the actresses, it has nothing to do with it whatsoever, but just purely from a character standpoint, I thought Rose Tico was just a completely pointless character, made even more pointless in the Rise of Skywalker. And Holdo as well, for me, was just completely pointless. Just a weird character in my opinion. Slithe Vadum or Slith Vadum. Do you think the Black Series should start doing replica of blasters? I think that's a pretty good idea. I haven't actually given it too much thought, but I think obviously they do the helmets and they do the lightsabers. Obviously they do the figures. So why not do blasters? Maybe there's some kind of legal thing around why they wouldn't be able to do blasters. I know that you're not allowed to post even toy guns, is that right, in America? Who knows? But they do Nerf guns, so I don't see any reason why not. But yeah, if you had Black Series standard replica blasters, I think that's a great idea, and I'd definitely buy Han Solo's, that is for sure. Alright, so now it's time to open the fan mail that I received this week. I've been saving this box for this video. It's from a guy called Charlie in America. He goes by the handle of Cowl of the Ewok on Twitter. Awesome guy. Offered to send me something. I'm not exactly sure what is in this box at the moment. Can't wait to open it, so we're going to get to open it in a second. But yeah, he used my PO box, so that's very, very nice of him indeed. So let's just open this now, just get rid of the label. All right, let's just move these out of the way. Old dancing girl. Right, let's open this box. Very, very generous. Charlie is. He sent me something before. He sent me some reaction figures of They Live, which was very, very nice of him indeed. And again, of course, I appreciate it greatly. All right, let's have a look. Look at that. Wow, that is awesome. So that is the reaction figure of Soundwave Transformers on an unpunched card. I do love these. These are fantastic. Really, really hard to get hold of in the UK, so he always does me a really good favour by sending me one of these. So I do appreciate that, my friend. That is just awesome. Just put that there because there is something else in here. Let's have a look. There's like a bag of something or other. Hey! He did ask me if I liked any particular American sweets, and whenever I'm in America, whenever I'm in New York or when I went to Florida, mint M&Ms are the best. I think he's actually got me 2 packs of those. Awesome. Thank you very much, Charlie. Thank you very much. As I said, he was called Cowl of the Ewok on Twitter. I think he might be called that on YouTube as well. Not 100% sure about that, but I know he watches the videos. And of course, as I mentioned, thank you so much. I never expect to get fan mail, but a few people have asked to send me some stuff, so I did have to set up the PO box, but that is great. These are just so awesome. I love the reaction figures. They are so great. So that's that. All right. Okay, so on to the next question. Blake Batcho says, love the videos. There are obviously a lot of great secondary background characters from the first season of The Mandalorian that we haven't seen in figure form. Any indication, guesses, force feelings about how much love the first season will get in the vintage collection beyond what we have seen before they shift their focus to season 2? Well, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the characters, or some of the characters that were in season 1, are still going to be in series 2 that we do need. For example, Moff Gideon. Is Grief Karga still alive? I think he is. I can't really remember. I think he is. Those two, for example, we definitely need. Obviously, IG-11, he obviously, spoiler alert, died at the end. We still need him in the vintage collection. So there's plenty of figures that we still need. Obviously, we're yet to see who is in series 2. But I would hope that they would give us a couple more figures before that comes out. That's due to air in November. So I would hope that we'll get some figures from both the first and the second series throughout next year. Hopefully, if they've got any sense, they'll just give us all of those figures, because I'm sure everyone is like me. They love The Mandalorian and they want the whole gang of figures from that show. MC says, do you think we might be able to get some Pikes from the Clone Wars? And do I think there'll be Force Link Vintage or Black Series or another line? So they definitely won't be Force Link. I think that's done and dusted. It's gone. Vintage collection, your guess is as good as mine. As I said at the beginning of the video, I think we're, when they're only doing 12 figures a year, we're lucky to get the core characters at the moment. So a Pike would be out of the realms of possibility, in my opinion. I think if we're going to get any Clone Wars figures, they'll be the main characters from the Clone Wars. And that's great with me, because we do need those on vintage cards. Black Series, you've got probably more of a chance. But again, I think with the Black Series, there's so many figures with it not being around that long that you still haven't got from the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. I can't see it happening, to be honest, but you never know. Alex Valdez says, hello, Bossk. Never miss your videos. Thank you very much, Alex. With the great success of The Mandalorian, how soon do you think we will have a Razorcrest in our collections? So the rumour that I have heard is that there is one more vehicle to be released or announced this year. Whether that's going to be the Millennium Falcon, which is the rumour I obviously heard last year when I heard about the Slave 1. Will it be the Razorcrest? I doubt it. I think if we're going to get a Razorcrest, it will be next year. But you never know. They could pull one out the bag and surprise us all. And by Christmas, we'll all have the Razorcrest in our collections. And how amazing would that be? Josh B says, with the Black Series fans' choice going on, do you think they will make Leia Jabba's prisoner if she did get the majority of the votes? So I know a lot of people that are voting for that figure. I personally voted for Commander Cody. If the votes are counted and everyone wants that figure, I see no reason why they wouldn't do it. Obviously, they don't call it Slave Leia anymore, so they haven't got that problem. Unless there's some legal thing where they can't release that figure anymore, which I don't think there is, then yeah, it'll be an easy one for them to do. And if the fans vote for it, the fans win, and everyone will get their Jabba's prisoner Leia. Bill Pork says, who is your favourite bounty hunter from the Clone Wars cartoon series? His is Cad Bane. You do know Bossk is in it, right? He is in it, but I can't pick him, can I? He's not in it enough. I think I'm going to go with you, Bill, to be honest. I do like Cad Bane. I think he's a great character. I do like that species as well. He's the same species from in the Cantina with like the astronaut outfit on. Somebody please tell me in the comment section below what that species is called. Great looking character. And there have been some good figures of Cad Bane in the past. And if he is on a vintage card in the vintage collection, I'd be very, very happy with that indeed. And I'm sure if they made a 6-inch version of him, the Black Series fans would love that as well. Brendan Draper says, great videos, always love your content. Thank you very much, Brendan. Which figure do you think is the most in need of an update? And which figures do you think are most in need of being made? I think Leia New Hope defo needs an upgrade and would love the Tonica sisters and Clegg Lars. Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you there, Brendan. I think the Leia New Hope is in desperate need of an update. So is Luke Farmboy. So is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's definitely one from the trilogy collection that needs an update. We need an update of the Tusken Raider, because the one that we got a couple of times has got swivel elbows. So we need a new one of him. Figures that I would like to be made, there's a countless list of them, but the Tonica sisters are right up there, of course, in the Cantina. Owen Lars, Aunt Beru in the vintage collection are needed as well, in my opinion. But as I say, who knows what they're going to do next. Nathan Duke says, what do you think about a carbonised 3.75-inch figure? So I got to be honest, I wouldn't want that in the vintage collection. I think they're having a hard enough time giving us the figures that we want anyway. As I mentioned a lot of times on this video, they're not doing enough figures. So why would we want them to suddenly put a load of carbonized figures in that line, which would move them away from the figures that we actually want? As much as I like the carbonized figures, kind of, I like the Boba Fett, that's for sure, that's coming. I just don't think it would work in the vintage collection. I think it suits more the Black Series box personally. So that brings us to the end of the episode, but please visit my website with the link in the description below. Have a read of the open letter that I'm putting forward to Hasbro, and please just share it wherever you possibly can using the hashtag of BackTVC. So that's hashtag BackTVC. Stands for Back the Vintage Collection. So basically what I'm asking there is for both the fans and Hasbro to back the vintage collection. We've got to back it by buying the product, and they've got to back it by giving us the product that we so desperately want. So please do me that favour. I will greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to drop a like down on this video, as I mentioned before. Thank you very much for watching if you've got this far, and we shall see you on the next one.